Good morning, my friends. Let me begin with a truth that has changed my life, and can change yours. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. These are words I've lived by, and I invite you to do the same. We live in a world of infinite possibility, but the key that unlocks that possibility is daily education, not once a year, not once a month in the pursuit of a successful and fulfilling life. Few habits are more powerful than the commitment to educate yourself daily. While traditional education might provide you with a foundation, it's the continuous self-directed learning you do on your own time that leads to real growth and achievement. Daily self-education isn't just a habit, it's a lifestyle. It's the personal promise to never stop learning, never stop evolving, and never stop reaching for more than you were yesterday. The truth is, life is always moving. The world is changing every day. Industries shift, technology advances, relationships evolve, and new challenges arise. If you're not learning, you're falling behind. Growth isn't something that happens automatically with age or experience. It happens through intentional effort, and that effort is often silent, unglamorous, and unseen. Reading a book when others watch TV, listening to a podcast on your commute instead of mindless radio, journaling your thoughts when you could be scrolling social media. These are small daily choices that shape a powerful inner transformation over time. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that education stops when school ends. In reality, that's when the most important education begins, because now, you're not learning what someone else told you to learn. You're choosing what matters most to you. You're identifying your goals, your weaknesses, your values, and seeking knowledge that aligns with them. That kind of learning is deeply personal, and it produces real, lasting change. When you take responsibility for your own development, you stop waiting for life to happen to you, and you start creating your own path. Another important reason daily self-education matters is that it cultivates confidence. When you know more, you trust yourself more. When you've fed your mind with great ideas, new perspectives, and useful strategies, you walk into situations prepared. You speak with clarity. You make decisions more wisely. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And one of the best ways to build it is by knowing that you're equipped with knowledge that most people simply don't take the time to acquire. It's also worth noting that daily education doesn't have to be difficult or time-consuming. It's not about overloading yourself with hours of study. It's about consistency. Even 15 minutes a day can make a difference. Reading just 10 pages of a meaningful book each day adds up to over 600 pages a year. That's about 12 to 15 books. Imagine how different your mindset, habits, and results could be after filling your mind with that much wisdom. The compound effect of those small daily efforts is massive over time. Moreover, self-education opens doors that formal systems never can. You learn things that are directly relevant to your dreams. You become resourceful. You develop the ability to solve problems creatively, to think critically, and to adapt quickly, all of which are essential skills in today's fast-paced world. It helps you stand out. It helps you lead. It helps you win, not just in business or career, but in your health, relationships, and personal fulfillment. Ultimately, daily self-education is a declaration. It says, I'm not done yet, I'm still becoming. It's a reminder that your future is not determined by your past, your background, or your current circumstances, but by your willingness to learn and grow. Every page you read, every idea you explore, every new skill you practice, it's a brick in the foundation of your best life. Make it a non-negotiable. Make it as regular as eating or brushing your teeth, because when you choose to grow a little every day, you don't just learn, you evolve. And when you evolve, you rise, you lead, you inspire, and most importantly, you win. If you want to know where your life is headed, take a look at your daily habits. Not your goals, not your wishes, not even your intentions, but your habits. Because it's what you do consistently, not occasionally, that determines your future. Success isn't built in a day, it's built daily. The small actions you repeat day in and day out quietly sculpt the results you'll see in a month, a year, or a decade from now. Most people are looking for breakthroughs, but breakthroughs are almost always the result of steady, quiet, deliberate routines that compound over time. Consider this. Every habit you have is either moving you closer to the life you want or further away from it. There's no such thing as a neutral habit. The things you do without thinking, the way you spend your mornings, the way you handle stress, the way you eat, work, and interact with people, these are forming the architecture of your destiny. Whether it's reading 10 pages a day, hitting the gym consistently, or spending time reflecting on your goals, these seemingly small practices are investments that pay massive dividends down the road. Many people underestimate the power of small, positive habits because the effects aren't immediate. You don't become wealthy the day after you start saving money. You don't become fit after one workout. You don't become wise after reading one book. But just as water shapes rock over time, your habits shape your character and your results, slowly, surely, and often invisibly. The problem is that negative habits work the same way. Skipping one workout, scrolling endlessly on your phone, procrastinating today. None of it feels like a big deal in the moment. But over time, these little choices become a lifestyle, and that lifestyle becomes your life. This is why being intentional about your habits is non-negotiable if you want to win in life. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. You may have the desire to succeed, but if your daily actions don't align with that desire, the results will never come. Goals give you direction, but habits give you momentum, and it's the momentum of good habits that carry you through the hard days, the setbacks, and the plateaus. Start small if you need to. Great habits don't have to be grand gestures. In fact, the simpler and more sustainable they are, the more likely they'll stick. Waking up 30 minutes earlier to read, replacing one unhealthy meal a day with a nutritious one, choosing a meaningful conversation over distraction. These are small hinges that swing big doors. The key is consistency. Anyone can do something once. Winners do it over and over, even when they don't feel like it. Discipline isn't about doing what you love, it's about doing what's necessary. The good news is that you're always in control of your habits. Even if your past was filled with poor routines, you can decide, right now, to start new ones. Your brain is built to adapt. The more you repeat a positive action, the stronger the neural pathway becomes. What was once difficult becomes automatic. What was once foreign becomes familiar. That's the beauty of being human. You can rewire your behavior through repetition and intention. It's also important to surround yourself with environments and people who reinforce your best habits. Willpower is finite, but structure is powerful. Set up your surroundings to make good choices easier and bad choices harder. Keep your phone away during study time. Keep healthy snacks within reach. Keep mentors and role models close. Success is not just about motivation. It's about designing your life so that the right habits become the natural path. In the end, your future isn't determined by luck, chance, or talent alone. It's shaped by what you repeatedly do when no one's watching. Excellence, fulfillment, health, and wealth. They are all the results of strong habits. So build them wisely, protect them fiercely. And remember, what you do today is creating the life you'll live tomorrow. There's a fundamental truth about knowledge that many people overlook. Knowledge alone changes nothing. You can read every book in the library, listen to hours of podcasts, take endless notes in seminars. But if you don't apply what you learn, it's just mental decoration. Information is not transformation. Action is. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not a lack of knowing, it's a lack of doing. Too often, we fall into the trap of confusing learning with progress. It feels productive to gather information, highlight passages, save inspirational quotes, and stack up self-help books. And while learning is crucial, it becomes powerful only when it moves from your head to your hands, from theory to practice. That's when knowledge becomes wisdom, That's when insight becomes results. That's when potential becomes power. Think of knowledge like a tool. A hammer sitting on a shelf won't build a house. A recipe in a cookbook won't make a meal. The value of a tool is in using it. The same applies to what you learn. If you hear a life-changing principle but never put it into action, it has no power to change your life. It's just stored energy, untapped, unused, and unrealized. Application doesn't require perfection. You don't need to know everything to take the first step. In fact, trying to know it all before starting is just another form of procrastination. You learn best by doing. By testing, by trying and failing and adjusting. Real growth happens in the process, not in the preparation. The person who takes imperfect action will always outperform the person who waits for perfect knowledge. Look at the most successful people in any field. They're not always the smartest in the room, but they're almost always the ones who execute. They take what they learn and turn it into strategy. They implement ideas. They act on feedback. They don't just attend the seminar. They go home and change their schedule, their habits, their conversations. That's what sets them apart. Not what they know, but what they do with what they know. There's also a deeper kind of confidence that comes from applying knowledge. When you take action, you gain experience. That experience builds trust in yourself. You stop being a collector of concepts and start becoming a person of results. Every time you apply a principle and see it work, your belief in your ability grows. Confidence isn't built by reading quotes. It's built by testing what those quotes really mean in the real world. You don't need a master plan to get started. Just ask yourself, what's one thing I can apply today from what I already know? Maybe you've read about the power of morning routines. Great. Start waking up 30 minutes earlier and spend time in silence, reading or planning your day. Maybe you've learned about the importance of gratitude. Then write 3 things you're grateful for every night. It doesn't need to be complex. It just needs to be consistent. Another powerful benefit of application is clarity. Sometimes we don't act because we're unsure if something will work, but you'll never find out by just thinking about it. Action creates insight. When you apply an idea, you see what works and what doesn't. You learn faster, make better decisions, and course correct sooner. Doing clarifies what thinking alone never can. Remember, applied knowledge is what creates value, not only for you, but for others. When you use what you know to help, to serve, to contribute, that's when your learning becomes a gift, not just a personal benefit. You move from being a student of life to a steward of wisdom. That's a much higher level of living. In the end, knowledge is not the finish line. It's the starting point. It's the seed, but you still have to water it, nurture it, and turn it into action. Don't let your mind be a warehouse of unused ideas. Let it be a workshop where knowledge is forged into tools that build a better life. What you know is important, but what you do with what you know is what truly changes everything. Learning doesn't stop when you graduate. It doesn't stop when you land your dream job, start a family, or hit a milestone. In fact, the most successful, fulfilled, and impactful people in the world are the ones who made a simple but powerful decision. They chose to become lifelong learners. They realized that every stage of life brings new challenges, and with those challenges come new opportunities to grow. They understood that staying curious, adaptable, and open to learning isn't optional. It's essential. When you commit to lifelong learning, you're not just adding information to your brain. You're upgrading your entire operating system. You begin to see problems as puzzles rather than roadblocks. You start approaching failure as feedback instead of defeat. You learn to shift, to adapt, and to innovate. That's how you win in life, not by knowing everything, but by continuously evolving. Learning is not confined to books or classrooms. It's in the questions you ask, the people you surround yourself with, the experiences you reflect on, and the risks you take. It's in every podcast you choose over idle chatter, every course you take when you could be scrolling, every honest conversation you have when it would be easier to stay silent. That's what separates those who just get by from those who thrive. Winning in life isn't about domination, it's about mastery, mastery of yourself, mastery of your craft, mastery of your relationships, your finances, your health, your time, and mastery is never accidental. It's the result of intentional, consistent learning. If you want to improve the quality of your life, start by improving the quality of your thinking, and that happens through learning, always learning. In your career, lifelong learning keeps you relevant. Industries change, technology advances, the market shifts. The skills that got you here won't keep you here. You must stay sharp. The learner is the leader, because the one who learns faster, adapts better, and thinks deeper will always rise to the top. It's not about outworking everyone else, it's about outlearning them. In relationships, learning helps you grow in emotional intelligence, communication, and empathy. You learn how to listen, how to support, how to love people better. You become more patient, more self-aware, and more connected. You stop reacting and start responding. That's how bonds deepen. That's how trust is built. That's how love lasts. In your health, learning helps you understand your body, your habits, your energy. You discover what foods fuel you, what routines center you, what stressors drain you. You start making better decisions, not because someone told you to, but because you understand why it matters. When you learn more, you live better. Even financially, lifelong learning is the difference between surviving and thriving. Learn how money works, learn how to budget, how to invest, how to create multiple income streams. It doesn't take luck, it takes literacy, and literacy comes from learning. It's not about having more money, it's about becoming the kind of person who knows how to manage and multiply it. And spiritually, learning allows you to deepen your understanding of meaning, purpose, and peace. You explore ideas that challenge and stretch you. You build a foundation that anchors you in difficult times. You grow beyond your old patterns and start seeing life with new eyes. That's the power of a learning mindset. It doesn't just inform you, it transforms you. The beauty of lifelong learning is that it's always available. No matter your age, your background, your education level, you can start today. You can decide right now to be a student of life, to wake up every morning asking, what can I learn today that will make me better than I was yesterday? That question alone can change your life. Because the person who keeps learning keeps growing, and the person who keeps growing keeps winning, not just in one area, but in all areas. Career, health, relationships, finances, fulfillment, it's all connected. Lifelong learners never arrive. They keep climbing, keep seeking, keep becoming, and that's the kind of life that wins. Not because it's perfect, but because it's always progressing. So as you walk away from this message today, remember this. Success is not something you stumble into. It's something you build day by day with intention and discipline. Educate yourself daily, not because you're behind, but because you're committed to becoming more. Shape your life through strong habits that move you forward, not ones that hold you back. Don't just gather knowledge, apply it. Turn what you know into action that transforms your results, and above all, never stop learning, because the moment you commit to being a lifelong learner, you unlock the ability to grow in every area of your life, career, health, relationships, and beyond. Winning in life is not about luck, it's about preparation, it's about mindset, and it's about doing the work every single day. So ask yourself, what can I learn today? What can I apply today? What habit can I build today? Because if you do that consistently, you won't just hope to win in life, you'll be equipped to guarantee it. Thank you.